Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
हमारे कार्यक्रम पेश किए जाते हैं कई भाषाओं में। कृपया देखें suprememastertv.com/schedule.
I think generally where faith comes in is that it brings about a self-esteem. You start to feel that your actions are responsible, they matter. You have to be responsible for your actions.
Please stay tuned to our program to find out more.
Hallo medelevende kijkers. I just said hello compassionate viewers in Dutch. I'm Emma. The attentive people of the Netherlands cherish your appreciation of heaven's gifts, the warmth of the sunshine and the freshness of the air. May we all be uplifted in such enriching joys. Welcome to the final episode of Practice What You Believe, Faith Panel on the relationship between religion and veganism.
Warning: you might find the content herein disturbing, but the truth must be revealed.
On October 27, 2019, a discussion titled Faith Panel on the Relationship Between Religion and Veganism, which took place in London, England, explored the interrelations between spiritual beliefs and cruelty-free plant-based living. It was organized as part of London's VegFest UK, one of the biggest annual vegan festivals in Great Britain, dedicated to celebrating, expanding, and relishing with gusto the life-affirming vegan trend. Among the panelists were scholars and activists from diverse religious backgrounds. Lara Balsam, director of the Jewish Vegetarian Society, Mara White, Muslim animal rights activist, Krishna Gandhi, Hindu animal rights activist, Dr. David Clough, Methodist preacher and professor of theological ethics at the University of Chester, Reverend Janie Hiller, ordained minister and pioneer activist in the Anglican Diocese of Bristol, along with panel chair Trey Kelly, an anthropologist and PhD student at Manchester University. Each of the individuals in this respectable group of advocates reached the conclusion that being vegan is an essential aspect of following their respective holy scriptures. Moreover, it is the only way to truly live in harmony with the spiritual values of virtue and compassion. These panel members discuss how they came to realize that our concern for the welfare of animals lies at the very heart of any religious belief and thus should ideally be a top priority for any person of faith. In this final episode, our panel of religious activists expressed their hope that growing awareness will compel more and more people of faith toward plant-based living to save the animals and ourselves.
So as a Christian theologian, I think it's about the big picture. So for me, it's important to recognize that Christians believe in a God who is the God of all creatures, who loves all creatures, who sustains all creatures. And that's an initial orientation that Christians have towards the whole of creation. Christians believe that God became a creature in the human being Jesus Christ. And that Jesus Christ died to reconcile all things in heaven and earth. So a cosmic understanding of what the meaning of God's incarnation in Jesus Christ was. And Christians also recognize that they look forward to a time when the creation that's currently groaning in the suffering of human beings and other creatures is going to be liberated from its bondage, and look forward to a time when God will be gathering up all creatures in a new creation. And there's visions in the book of Revelation at the end of the New Testament where all creatures are circled round Jesus as a lamb, worshiping God in this new creation. As a Christian today, reading the texts in the context of mass industrialized animal agriculture today seem to me to be obviously pointing to the radical inconsistency between our modern practices in relation to animals and the faith that Christians share. And so that's what motivates my Christian veganism, the idea that to witness to the God who is the God of all creatures and cares for them means that we need to resist and reject the way that God's creatures are maltreated in the world that we see it today. I think I became sensitized to animal justice issues during my teenage years, and then as soon as I had the opportunity clearly to be making a choice about what I was eating when I was 18, I became vegetarian and then moved towards veganism subsequently. I think looking back, I actually do think that my Christian formation did have quite a strong part of what led me to feel like it was an obvious thing. And I was really especially interested to discover that Methodism was founded by a man called John Wesley in the 18th century, and he was someone who had a particular concern for cruelty towards animals, and that was characteristic of other Christians and especially Methodists in the time after his death. And so retrospectively, I think that the spiritual formation I received is potentially a really important part of what led me to the path that I'm on.
The difference being, when we try and compare it to history and slavery and all the other kind of oppressions, is that we are empathizing with animals. So we're identifying and connecting with animals. So the animals are not standing up for themselves, but we're standing up for the animals. Not every human being has a connection, even within themselves, nor do they have a connection with other human beings. So it's difficult to make a connection with an animal. And I think when they realize that what they do and what they think, how they act, has a domino effect that comes with some self-esteem. And I think generally where faith comes in is that it brings about a self-esteem. You start to feel that your actions are responsible, they matter, you have to be responsible for your actions. So it's about really kind of getting down to that connection, I think. And if we got that right, I think the rest would it should, like math, just follow on.
I know that our Prophet's diet was mainly plant-based. His main food sources were dates and barley. So I think more than 90% of his diet was plant-based. So a lot of Muslims disregard that fact. And it's more of a cultural thing that they eat so much meat. So I think if they looked into religion deeply when it comes to food, then they would realize that meat is not a big part of religion. It's actually the opposite.
On June 20th, 2020, Supreme Master Ching Hai was respectfully invited as a guest speaker at World Unity Week. This was a peace-building event held online that brought together indigenous people from around the world, as well as internationally renowned representatives from diverse faiths and cultures. Supreme Master Ching Hai graciously recorded a special video message for the participants, in which she spoke of this as a crucial time in which we should not only pray to unite all beings on earth, but also act and go vegan now, to ensure a brighter future for humans and animals alike.
It's good that we have this opportunity to express our unity spirit and gratefulness to heaven and earth, for our world really need earnest prayers and sincere effort to unite all beings on the planet. Because we are all nourished from earth and blessed by heavens. We are brothers and sisters, including all non-human beings on earth. However, just prayers and talk is not good enough. We have to act. We have to change our way of life to more benevolent, compassionate, loving and kind toward each other, regardless of race, species, and nationalities. This is a time for us to be quietly contemplating our true nature within, to ask ourselves why misfortune happened, and open our hearts to listen to divine guidance. The divine guidance told me that As we sow, so shall we reap. So let's start now, from now, to sow all benevolent deeds that we can, so that we will get benevolent outcome in return for our future. The past we cannot change, but we could change our future. Depends on our present action. Our future will be doomed or bright. I think you all know what I'm talking about, since you are all spiritual people and have deep-rooted spiritual knowledge passed down to you since ages and ages. The wisdom of old has never been lost in the community of the indigenous people. And you know well, according to that wisdom, we cannot expect full happiness, full joy, if we cause sorrow to others, including our earth co-tenants, the sweet animals, and all other beings around us. They are the blessing sent from heaven to help us in our sojourn on this planet. We should appreciate them, protect them, and be grateful for their presence. So my simple message is, be vegan, make peace. Thank you all for doing your part to save our world.
Our deep gratitude to Supreme Master Ching Hai for her wise, loving, and provident guidance. As we approach the conclusion of our program, let's listen to the positive progress the panelists have witnessed regarding veganism within their religious communities.
So we've recently built the first ever Jewish vegan centre in the world. It's in Golders Green, where we've been based since the 60s. It's the heart of Jewish London. And what we hope is that it will serve as a blueprint for people that are coming to use the space. And one of the only rules we have is that it's vegan food. So we've had people come in and do book launches. They may not be vegan, but they have to serve vegan food. Quite amazingly, we've had people come in and do bar mitzvahs. We've had people come in and do product launches, all sorts of things. And they've come in and we'll show them how to do a zero waste event that's eco, that's vegan. And really, they've got no excuse now. If we're on their doorstep showing them how to veganize their traditional food and offering events, we hope that that's going to make a big impact. Separately from that, we're doing what we can to liaise with local kosher restaurants and with caterers, and starting to talk with schools as well. Pretty much, I would say that vegetarianism is mainstream in the Jewish community.
I remember in 2015, there wasn't any kind of veganism concept in Mumbai. By the end of my stay, we started to see veganism coming up in the papers. And then the next year I returned, there was like vegan plant-based milks in the coffee shops, which is great. And so things are picking up a lot, at least in reference to faith communities, where India being the largest Hindu nation. And I attend Sunday school, which is philosophy and the Bhagavad Gita. And a lot of people there changed, and that's millions and millions of people around the world. We're starting to see that change happening.
We are grateful to all the high-principled vegan participants contributing to this inspirational and empowering conversation. Their efforts will surely help awaken wise-hearted transformations in the minds and deeds of all faithful followers. Benevolent viewers, thank you for your supportive company on today's program. Coming up next is Spinning the Light of Art 2019 International Artists' Day celebration in Taiwan for Formosa, part 6 of 10, here on Supreme Master Television. By the grace of heaven, may a vegan world soon become manifest as we all rediscover our compassionate and noble nature within.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW